Welcome to In the Spotlight with Amy Scruggs, where we feature great artists, entrepreneurs, community leaders, and, well, anyone that should have that moment to share their story in the spotlight. Welcome to another great episode of In the Spotlight, and I have a treat for you today. I have a fantastic recording artist with RBR Entertainment Bluegrass, and it is Chris Davis. And we're going to hear about his incredible background in music and what he's doing. And this is going to be one you don't want to miss. Chris, thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you for having me, Amy. I really appreciate this.
Bluegrass music is so dear to so many hearts. I happen to love it, and I know that growing up in bluegrass means that you just really have it in your DNA. Let's talk about your history with music in general, with your family, and how you were really brought into bluegrass and what that is for you.
Gosh, I was really young when it started. My dad and my papa played. My papa was a fiddle player. Family was from Stearns, Kentucky. And Dad, he played banjo and guitar. And so, my brother and I played what was left. I played the upright bass, and my brother Wes played the guitar, and we had our family band for a long time, it seemed. And we just, learned a lot. We'd sing every day after school. I would go to my grandpa's house, and, he would play fiddle, and I'd learn to play guitar with him. I remember stuff like that. He would cut a pick for me out of a milk jug, because we couldn't keep a pick around, I guess. So that or
it worked.
Yeah, it worked. It was very humble, I could say. But that's exactly where it started, right there. And they took me to a festival once, and oh my, I was definitely hooked.
Yeah, I was going to ask, did you feel like you were hooked in it from the get-go, or did you learn to love it, or was it like, oh, thank goodness I was born into this family?
I was very blessed. All the above. It was daggone, the combination of being around it, growing up, hearing it, and then those parts came to me naturally, thankfully. Hearing it, being able to sing harmonies and such, it just came to me naturally. I didn't have to work at it. Dad and his buddies were singing one night, and I started singing along with them, and they kind of figured out that I had an ear for that. Later on, ended up learning to play instruments.
How many instruments do you play?
I've beaten thrash on a lot of instruments.
It counts.
Yeah, I hear you. I try to. I played the mandolin for 25 years or better, and I played the guitar with the band from Nashville called the Grascals for the past 3 years. Of course, I can play a bass, to get me by.
Yes.
I've played fiddle in my life. I'm not afraid of any of them to a degree. I don't like to mess with the banjo too much. It's too much going on with my right hand.
So besides your family, what were some of the first influences that you can remember? Clearly the family that brought you in and big giant hug. But what were some of the other influences that you really started to notice were shaping you?
Well, I remember when Dad and Mom would be gone and everybody, I'd have the house to myself or whatever. I would have records. And of course, it was before YouTube and such. And I would play those records. And a lot of that was Stanley Brothers, the Ralph and Carter Stanley, and Flatt and Scruggs, and Reno and Smiley. Traditional bluegrass, it was the OGs, if you will. The guys that came up with this from the beginning. And that's what I listened to. And that's what I guess I've always thought it's supposed to be. And of course, it's gotten, I don't know how it's advanced, if you will. People have done a lot with the music, and it's great. I love what people have done with it. Billy Strings and so many others, countless others that are just taking it to another level. Mm-hmm. And sure, and that will have, a place to play for years to come.
How have you seen bluegrass expand and grow and change over the years?
Well, I've seen it come and go. It seems like it gets slow, and then it gets like you can't sit still, and it's always something happening. Right now there's a couple festivals going out of business, unfortunately, in the bluegrass. Yeah, we're losing a few.
So sad.
Yeah, it is sad, and they've been there.
Don't leave us. Don't go.
They've been there for a long time, and it is sad to see them go. But my son and I were talking about that, and I believe it's it ushers in a new era of festival promoters. And, I think as long as there's music, there's going to be people that want to hear it.
Yes.
So
What were your first experiences really live on a big stage? And let's talk about what that was like for you, because growing up with it, music was just a part of, like you said, your family room, the porch, your life, every family gathering. But when you stood on that stage professionally and took it that next level, what was that transition like for you? And what did you feel?
It was, I kind of felt validated for, if you will, because it's all I'd ever wanted. It's all I'd ever dreamed of is playing music. And
Yes.
I cried and carried on to mom and daddy about cars and getting me there and this and that. It was a passion. And I was so into it, I didn't even realize how deep into it I was already at such a young age. uh, you know, I would pick up magazines and look into the back of it where they would be selling instruments and pretend that, that's going to be mine. This is mine and this is mine and this is mine. Of course, we didn't have that kind of money and I certainly didn't get those instruments, but I've came a long way and been very blessed and people have been good to me and they've, taken care of me with the instruments and all kinds of just great sponsors to help me along.
Right. When we play with other musicians, we learn so much about ourselves. A lot of times we're able to be a mentor or teacher to someone else, or we learn from others as well. But when we're going town to town or playing in front of an audience, we learn about ourselves as well. Well, what have some of those lessons been for you working with other musicians, along with what you've learned from your fans and from the live audiences?
Gosh, I've learned a lot through the years and how to act on stage and how to act off stage. Playing some really big stages. I thought I'd get to play in some country acts that were just, you know, blew my mind. I pinch myself sometimes. Getting to play the Grand Ole Opry more than I gotten to do. It's been a blessing. I don't know. There's so much to say, Amy.
I know,
God,
right?
yes, there really is. It's been a ride, and if the good Lord took me today, I couldn't say I would be. I'm a happy man.
Let's talk about the music itself. What are some of the favorite songs that you perform live? What are some of the favorite ones that you've recorded to this time?
Yeah, there's a lot of those. There's a lot of great music that I love, but there's a song right now that I'm on all about is that Daddy was a Navy man.
Mm,
My papa was in the military. We didn't necessarily in the Navy, but it's just the way the song flows, the way it can be sung. It touches me, and sometimes even when I sing gospel songs, I get convicted, and I can't even get through the dang thing, and I have to stop, and cry.
right. It's powerful, isn't it?
Just that guy. I'm a real when it comes to mushy, that have I don't know what to say. Other than yeah, it is music. It's very powerful, and that's why I say, no matter what, as long as there's music, people are going to come and listen to it because it touches them, and makes them feel that way.
What's it like for you with the fans that follow you and interacting with them and seeing that grow over the years?
I absolutely adore it. Those folks, they're obviously what makes it go around, and wasn't for them, I wouldn't be doing what I'm getting to do. And I love every one of them. I'll always take time for them. I have, I'm 43 and I've done this for a long time, and I put no one away.
What about the songs? What are the fans' favorites? What are those singles out there that you have that's the one that they want every time? Even if you want to give them something else, what are those top singles that you're so proud of that they want to hear?
Well, there's been when I was with the Graskels, they loved quite a few of the songs that we were doing. Then, but right now, it's been down south in New Orleans. They really have taken to that song, and I'm thankful for that. It was the first single, and the second was doing really well, but the first one there is really holding up for me. It's got some legs on it, sis.
What was the last project you did and released? Let's talk about your recording projects and also what you've got coming up. What have you released before?
Well, I mean, as far as a solo project, I done one, Lord, it's been forever ago, and it wasn't even on a label. It was more of a sell on the table merch kind of thing where I
Sure.
played with the bands, and uh, it
Those
was,
are the most
gosh,
special, aren't they? I mean, it's something to be proud of because that was your heart and soul and grassroots in that, correct?
It was because I had to put it all together and I had to make it happen and with RBR Entertainment and the label, they tend to do all that and make it happen for you. So there's less footwork when it comes to that, and all you got to do is go and sing and play and do what you do.
Hmm. What are
But
you what are you working on now? What's coming up?
well, we've got. I'm supposed where I'm working with the new band from Ohio named Joe Mullins and the Radio Ramblers, and we're going in the studio. I think in November, and I will be finishing up my personal solo album with RBR. Probably not long after that. I think we have all the tracks cut, so we just need to go
Wow.
back and put vocals on, and things will be good.
This is really something to look forward to. When
Yeah.
when can we, the listeners, be able to get a copy of this? When are we gonna be able to have that?
Well, it should be late this year or the very beginning of next, so it's not far off. We're almost there, and I'm excited. I'll get out.
Well, rumor has it that there was also a Christmas album that's upcoming for this holiday season from RBR Entertainment. Were you able to be a part of that project?
I was, and I'm proud to say that I was. I got a friend of ours from here in around the house there in Huntington, West Virginia, and he is John Darren Rousey. He plays with a group called the Guardians. Actually, it's a singing group,
Yes.
and he wrote a song called "Down in Bethlehem," and it is a wonderful song. So it's on the Christmas thing, the RBR Entertainment's Christmas release, I guess we'd call it. So I look forward to hearing it all in its entirety, and just it's that time of year. I love Christmas anyway. So
Chris, if you were to talk to a young musician in bluegrass that's ready to start coming up the ropes, what advice would you give to them? Now that you look back, as you said, you've been doing this a lot of years. What do you look back and advise to a young musician starting their path?
well, I would say, be humble, be so humble, no matter what, because being a good dude could be the deciding factor of whether or not you're going to get a job, because you can
Yes.
be a great player, but have a poor attitude. And nobody wants to be around that, and practice, practice, practice. My goodness. It's not hard. Just be a good human
Be a
and
good
practice.
human. That's the soundbite right there. That's the one we're putting out there. But it's true in everything we do, be a good human, but especially as an artist, because you're right. You represent when you're at the venue, whether you're with your fans, whether you're in the studio, you're representing your own brand, your label, and the music that you love and have been passionate about since you were a little boy.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Couldn't have been said better. God, we'll have to edit that.
Now I love it. Chris, what an honor to get to be with you today and to hear your story. I mean, as a fellow musician, I get so excited to have these type of interviews and to be able to sit with you like this, hear your story, your passion for music, and what you've done is blessing lives around the world. Where can we hear your music? Where can we find you?
It's on all streaming platforms. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. I don't do Twitter, so it's
I
just
don't either. That's okay.
come and be with me.
Wonderful. Everybody find Chris Davis on our favorite streaming platforms. Make sure you get a handle on this Christmas album that's coming out. And then your single project that's coming, we're going to want to pre-order that for sure. Make sure we know about this. We'll provide updates as well. But thank you so much, Chris, for being here with us today. Thanks for all that you've contributed to bluegrass music for so many years.
Thank you, Amy. I'm honored to have been here. I hope to come back.
Thank you for listening to In the Spotlight podcast. For more information, you can go to amyscruggsmedia.com and make sure and follow on social media at Amy Scruggs Media.